Good morning, guys. It is Saturday, January 19th. It's around 9:26 in the morning. Right now, I'm in the car. I'm headed actually to school, but we actually don't have school today, funny enough. It's Martin Luther King Junior Day. I'm still heading to school this morning because I'm actually right now going to meet a friend. What I'm actually heading down to school right now to go work on my friend with is we've been part of this high school competition where you have to research this private company and pitch it to basically a mock investment board. And it's sort of I guess you could say like a mock venture capital competition or something in that sense. Yeah, so we're going right now to part of the competition is we have to make this video deliverable where they ask us some questions about the company that we researched and we have to respond with the video. So that's what we're going to go do now, film that together, answer the questions. And also we were supposed to have a meeting scheduled with the founder of the company as part of our research process today at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, it looks like that's probably not going to work out for today just because he's going to be traveling. So we'll probably have to push that back to another day. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But anyways, that is sort of the plan for the first portion of the day. And then, yeah, I'll be sure to update you guys with whatever comes up afterwards. Hey guys, it is now around 7:45 p.m. A lot has happened since I actually filmed in the car. So just going to run you guys through the day, honestly. I would have filmed a little bit more, but I was actually with my friend for quite a bit of the day. We were sort of just in the moment. So just going to give you a quick recap on everything that happened today. So I ended up arriving at school and we were hoping to potentially have a demo of that a company that we were researching at 10 a.m. So that we could finish up our sort of deliverable for that competition that we were working on. Unfortunately, that call was canceled. No one ended up showing up to the call. So we decided to improvise and we sent just an email to the team with some of our questions because ultimately our deliverable was due at the end of the day today. So we were sort of worried about having enough time to get all of our questions answered and all of that. So we sent an email and then, with the rest of our time, we just spent some time catching up on some schoolwork. I actually worked a little bit on this one AI advertisement that I've been working on. So I'll be sure to share that in just a second. So we worked on that around just some homework and our own little projects for probably 2 hours. Then afterwards, we went to the gym. I had a nice workout, chest and triceps. Afterwards, went to get some nice lunch at Chipotle. And then while we were at the gym, actually, I got an email back with a full response to all of our questions. So we sort of made the game plan to head back to school where we were working. We set everything up, got dressed, got like a nice camera view, a nice tripod, set up some microphones. Ended up filming sort of our deliverable for that competition. So we were there probably then after Chipotle at school for another probably 2.5 hours, filming, editing, working on some overlay footage. So, been pretty busy. And then got home, had some dinner, had a little snack, and just been sort of working on some little miscellaneous things I have for tomorrow. But yeah, overall, really, great day. It's been a great experience. I'm curious to see how we perform in the competition. But either way, there's something very rewarding about, having a very focused day of getting a lot of work done and just getting in a flow state and also working on something together with a friend or partner. It's just when things like that click and things like that work well together, it's just feels very rewarding. So I enjoyed that. Anyways, let me show you guys real quick on the computer this other thing I've been working on. I thought I would share a little bit about what I've been working on. So in my previous video, I talked about how I wanted to learn more about sort of AI-enabled advertisements through Google VO3. So I've been sort of experimenting with building out my own ad creative, and I've been working on it for the past few days. So what I ended up doing is working on building a mock advertisement for a financial advisor who's essentially looking to get more clients. So I built out this, basically this mock ad copy script. It's for a 90-second video ad. And actually I used ChatGPT to help me because, obviously there's an art to copywriting and writing something that's engaging and hooks in an audience. So I looked at Facebook Ad Library. I looked at some pretty successful campaigns. For those of you who don't know, the Facebook Ad Library, it's this wonderful platform where you can actually search advertisements that are active on Meta and you can see everything. So for example, if I just look up like a random niche like finance businesses, then yeah, when you click enter, you'll actually see a variety of, advertisements that are running. You can actually even see the landing pages that all the advertisements go to. So I was using that to basically help me write a good script. And then from there, what I did was to use Google VO3. There's actually this great platform called Artlist, where you get access to all sorts of AI models under one subscription. Now, one challenge that I've came up with is it's quite expensive. Just for me to generate a couple of videos, it's already cost me probably around $20 to $30. So it's a little bit challenging when you're first generating the video advertisements, but obviously over time, once you can actually start selling it, if it ends up working out, hopefully that justifies the cost. So here are some of the generations that I made, but see, here's another thing I want to share. So when you make these AI videos, once you have the script, there's two different ways you can do it. So you can do either just text to video, or you can do image to video. And image to video works a lot better because when you do image to video, what you're essentially doing is you're basing it off of an image. So what you can do is you can actually base the advertisement off of one consistent character. So what I did was I generated one AI image of this being my main character. And then for the different scenes, so that you have a consistent character, I could basically have, let's say, that same individual, except now in this golf shot. So essentially using AI, you can take that same face and put it into a different scene. And then once you have all these different images generated for all your different video scenes, you can go back to Artlist and you can upload that image here and then say what you want that person to do in that image, and it will turn it into a live video. So that's sort of what I've been doing and experimenting with. And so far it's been going pretty well. I mean, I'm not going to play it now, but here are some previews of how it looks. So, it's pretty good to experiment with. Obviously, I'm curious to see how it performs. It also depends on the niche. Like, for example, financial advisor niche. I'm curious to see if people would, A, be able to tell if it's AI generated, and B, if that would impact the conversion rate. Obviously, it depends niche by niche, right? When it's something trust-based, like a financial advisor, it could have a deeper impact than maybe like a cooking class where it's less trust-based, or maybe some sort of online course. Another thing I thought I'd share is, when it comes to the voice consistency, a separate thing I've done is, if you can see here, is the voices in these different videos are going to be different each time, because Veo 3 doesn't really have a base voice to base it off of. So what you can do is you can actually go to 11 Labs, which is an AI voice changer. You can extract the audio and convert it into a pre-built voice in 11 Labs, so it's consistent. So that's sort of what I've done here. If you see these green bars, it sort of adds a consistent voice in between all those different clips. I thought I would share a little bit about, what I've been working on and, document how that's been going. My goal for this week is just to build maybe 1 or 2 mock campaigns, see how they do, make some good work, and then maybe start reaching out to people and say, hey, this is what I've created. Is this something that you'd find valuable? And just get some feedback from the industry. But yeah, overall, I've been enjoying it. I mean, I think it's fascinating, and I'm very, very curious to see where this industry goes 3, 4, 5 years from now. I mean, honestly, I bet it'll be pretty indistinguishable from what I'm filming right now, which is shocking. But I mean, just what's happened in the past 3 or 4 years is already pretty incredible. So yeah, aside from that, just been working on that. For the rest of the evening, probably what I'm going to be doing is probably spend an hour or so just wrapping up some work on this, and then I'll continue that tomorrow as well. Tomorrow we actually have school, so I'm going to be getting up early for that. And I'm sure I'll film some stuff tomorrow. But yeah, aside from that, just probably going to wrap up this. Get ready for bed tonight, have about 3 more hours. And yeah, that's about it. It was a pretty great day today, and I'll be sure to film some more tomorrow. It is currently Wednesday, January 21st. It is 5:30 p.m. Didn't actually end up filming anything yesterday, just because honestly didn't really get to it. I was doing a bunch of things. What I ended up actually having yesterday was, just went to school, had some stuff, and then after school yesterday, I have a funny story. I actually went out for a dinner at this one very nice restaurant on this past Saturday. And while I was there, I was just sort of curious. I thought I'd ask, hey, are they looking for any work or jobs or anything like that? Just because, now I'll have some more time on my hands. And I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to maybe, work inside some sort of restaurant, see how it runs, get some experience, and just see how it goes. So I ended up applying online, and I ended up getting a call like a day or two afterwards that they'd like to have me come in and interview. So I came in yesterday and I got, and I did an interview, went very quick, around 15 minutes. And, things went fairly well. And they invited me to actually go today to do sort of a 1 to 2 hour sort of shadow of, how it is at the restaurant, how it works, how it operates, what sort of the role would be like. So that's what I'm headed to now. I'm supposed to be there at 6 p.m. So I'm a little earlier, but it's always a little better to be earlier. Yeah, I'm pretty curious to see how it goes. I mean, this is probably top 5 best restaurants in the area that I live in. It's a very nice, fine dining restaurant. And that's one of the reasons I picked it. I feel like at this stage in life, a lot of it's about learning new things, exposing yourself. And I feel like, rather than, which obviously there's nothing, bad about, those are also great jobs too. But, rather than being at like a grocery store or something like that, where, things seem to be sort of repetitive and just, I thought, might try something where, you're in a high level environment, surrounded by, I guess, I mean, at least in the culinary realm, excellence. All of these people, these are some of the best waiters in town. This is some of the best service you'll get in town. So just seeing how that operates, I thought would be interesting. So heading over there now. I'll definitely be sure to update you guys afterwards how that goes. In terms of all the other stuff, not much has really been going on. Just been going to school, going through the motions in terms of that. But I got to be transparent. One thing that I've been struggling with, and I've talked about this in past videos, is sort of a sense of direction in life or a goal, or like, even though I see I might set a goal, then sometimes, I don't know if it's me overthinking it and thinking, hey, why am I even doing this? What is the reason behind me working on this? Maybe it's because me, getting easily distracted about things, seeing other opportunities, considering them, or maybe it's because of, a subconscious fear, a fear of, doing something and failing at it. And even though that might not be conscious, it might be a subconscious thing. It's just something that I've been thinking about and pondering about, and I'm not really sure exactly how to tackle it. It kind of, it's kind of like, there's this one book, it's called Man's Search for Meaning, and I feel like that's kind of this sort of mental journey that I'm on, is like a search for meaning. Why am I here? What is it all for? What am I pursuing? Sure, there's things that might attract us, such as money and fame and power, but then when you really, extract it on a lower level, you realize that often all of that is meaningless. And then when you realize that, you're like, well, if that's something that you've been looking at or almost chasing, which might not be the best thing, but honestly, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of the truth. Because I always thought, if you chase money, that will give you freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, do whatever you want. But oftentimes in that pursuit, people lose freedom. Anyways, it's been this interesting sort of rabbit hole that I've been in and just thinking about. And sometimes it consumes me, and then I try and counter it with, I guess, learning more about my mind and meditating every day, which has been great. But sometimes I feel like it can almost be this temporary escape, or at least for now it is, where you sort of calm your mind and are aware of your thoughts for maybe 30, 40, 50 minutes, and then you kind of get back into things of, well, why am I here? What is this all about? What is a goal that I want to work towards? And yeah, it's just something that I've been thinking deeply about. And one thing that sort of instigated it a little bit more was there was this fascinating podcast I watched yesterday. It was a podcast with Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins, which are two, huge, incredible business figures and leaders. Especially Alex Hormozi, I've watched his content, and obviously you look up to these figures, especially online. They portray themselves as, almost, not saying he does, but people online, you think, they have everything figured out and they know what they're doing. And this podcast was so eye-opening to me because, I was thinking it would just be an interview of Alex Hormozi with Tony Robbins, and ultimately what it ended up being was, Alex sort of opening up and breaking down how he feels. And it ultimately sort of revealed how, he's in this sort of spot where he also doesn't really know what he's doing with his life and what his purpose is, and that sure, he's made all this money, but now that he has everything, he's out of that place of pain. He doesn't really know, he doesn't have like a fire within him. He's just sort of working by habit. And it's just a very interesting breakdown with him and Tony Robbins, and sort of giving him advice and things like that. And it just sort of, it definitely opened my eyes a lot, because it's like a lot of these people that I may look up to or think, have things figured out. At the end of the day, no one has it figured out. It's tough, but I just thought I'd share that, because that's sort of the headspace that I'm in now. And I look back on these videos, it'll be good to know and see, and to see that, everyone struggles with these things if they think about it a lot. So hopefully, if I look back on this a few years from now, I'm maybe in a better place when it comes to that. But trying my best, trying to learn, trying to test different things, and we'll see where it leads.